That's incredibly powerful concept in Christian New Church theology around how perfection works and how it doesn't work, and how we can kind of hold it maybe in a way that is more aligned with the way heaven holds that whole concept. And I want to start with this perfection. I had a wedding down in Ocean City, New Jersey last weekend, and it was talking about how perfection really is no place in a marriage. It just doesn't. We'll if we're holding out for our partner to be perfect, that we're going to be holding out a long time. I know couples who've been married for a long time will talk about that they found the perfect partner. But the perfect partner, they've rubbed off a lot of rough edges, and they have found a way to grow together and to accept each other and to accept each other around those differences. So that's a different kind of thing than when you're first married, going into marriage, and thinking that you're gonna have the perfect marriage and you found the perfect person, and inevitably that perfect person is in our image and our way of seeing it, and we want them to kind of fit into that box. That's not what we want to do, and it's not how God holds it. And it seems, again, important when we look at that at the holiday season, because it's a time where we can easily think that we're going to do it perfectly. And here it's talking about kind of the mixed state of humanity, and this is going back to the book of Genesis. This is the story where Abraham is pleading with God to save the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah. Those cities represent sort of real selfishness on our part, like when we're narcissistic and all that self-love, and how that part does need to be destroyed, but it's going to take time, and it doesn't happen overnight, and it's not literally about God destroying a city or cities. It's about something inside of us that actually needs to go of God's mercy, because we're not going to be happy living in our own little narcissistic jail, so to speak, our own little narcissistic world. And here's the comment about the this idea of perfection I love. Heaven is not pure in the Lord's sight, but it is also true that its inhabitants are constantly improving. I love that line. And it comes down to this, just as a little bit of a mantra. Never perfect, always better. And just imagine, let's just apply that in our relationships. Like, apply that to yourself. Yeah, you're never going to be perfect, but you're always going to be working to get better. Imagine applying that to a relationship. Never going to be perfect. We're always going to be working at making it better. Imagine your family. Never going to be perfect. We're always going to work at it being better. Imagine a work situation. Never perfect. Always working at it being better. And you can just go on down the line, and you can see how incredibly powerful that can be. Because the perfectionist mindset, friends, again, the whole part of perfection, it doesn't start with a view of God. God clearly can handle imperfection. I mean, the Bible, it's all the Bible stories is a bunch of totally imperfect, flawed people with, and their imperfections just rattling around. I mean, even Jesus, like God incarnate, he has some stories where clearly he didn't handle them perfectly. There's a wonderful story where he calls a Samaritan woman a dog, that wasn't Jesus on his best day. Like, come on. And we don't need to sort of explain that away. I think it's in there so that we just remember imperfection's part of the game. And it's not about the imperfections, about what we do with it. Because perfection isn't based on our view of God, though we may use language around this. Perfection is based on our own mindset and our own desire to have sort of all the ducks out there in a row, to have everything perfectly lined, to have everything perfectly set up, to control all of life's circumstances. And then once we do, we'll have it perfect. And that is just not how life is going to work. I think those of us who are older, which most of us are, who watch this, no, that's not how it goes. And at the same time, just saying the world is imperfect doesn't leave us anywhere in terms of what can we do. It just leaves us with, we don't want to do that. Well, what can we do? We can just work at getting better. That's it. Just one small thing. I love the 12-step tradition and the idea of just do the next right thing. That's part of getting better. And oftentimes these are just small, little, tiny things. They're a nice card. They're a nice text message. They're reaching out to someone. They're not that complicated, friends. And that's where we want to be, is trying to keep life that's not complicated up by a bunch of perfectionist nonsense. We want to be going into life as best we can. And again, somebody out there is a biblical scholar. They're going to go, yeah, but doesn't Jesus say to be perfect? Yeah, and that word there is actually wholeness. You can look it up. It's not perfection as we would see it in the West, which is a single state. It's a perfection, as the easiest way I think to understand it is wholeness is winter, spring, summer, fall, that's what's perfect. So friends, just remember, life is never perfect, always better. Just remember your relationships, never perfect, always better. There's a great letting go there, and there's a great picking up, a great letting go of this perfectionist tendency that I think all of us have in certain arenas, and a great picking up of, yeah, we're just going to try to do it better. That's all. And some days we will, some days we won't, but if the intention is there, God's going to bless that. So I hope that makes sense, my dear friends. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a breath, listen to a prayer bell, and then we're going to go through and start to say hi to folks on Facebook, on social media, and then we will close. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little like relaxation listening to the prayer bell. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let's get a little quick shout out here to folks who might be joining us online. And again, I hope all of you have a wonderful day planned ahead of you. I know last night my beautiful wife and I went out to a Christmas concert, and that felt like a beautiful start to it all, actually, which was really nice. All right. Steve, how you doing? Good to see Steve joining us this morning over in Hatboro. Linda, good morning to you, my friend. I hope you're doing well. Marcus, as always, good morning. Looking forward to seeing you, my friend, at our little office party today, which will be very nice. We get together with the team every Christmas. They do so much good work behind the scenes to make all of this very, very possible. So I deeply appreciate that. So we're going to go out and celebrate that today. See if this thing's going to cooperate here. There we go. All right, just give it a second. Okay, those are the 3 comments we have this morning. And again, folks, feel free to leave comments later in the day. A lot of people do. Probably about 99% of our watches are archived, and that's totally good to, hear from you folks later on in the day as well.